Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high-level Protoss versus Protoss. But wait, don't tune out yet just because it's a Protoss versus Protoss, because it's a very special one. In the bottom left, as our red Protoss player, it's going to be Skillous. And in the top right, as our blue Protoss player, it's going to be Reynor. Reynor in a PvP. We all know that Reynor has been playing a bunch of off-race lately, and the main off-race he has been playing is Protoss. I think he played something like maybe 200 to 400 games, somewhere in that guesstimation range. I'd ballpark it like that, maybe a little more even, in the past 2.5 weeks or so. And he's loved it. He's been having a great time playing it. Performed pretty well in the ESL Open Cup, getting second place, getting to the finals, and then losing to Clem, taking out Showtime 2-0, as well as taking out Hero Marine. I believe it was 2-1. Sadly, did lose to Clem 3-1. I believe it was, not 3-0. Yeah, 3-1. Alright, is opening up with a proxy pylon right now to start with, and this is looking a lot like either a proxy Stargate or a proxy Robo. Could also be a proxy Gate, of course. There's a lot of possibilities. Skillous here, opening up with a quick scout. Now, the beauty of watching Reynor games is that the theory isn't optimal. Okay, there's definitely something lacking there at times, and just knowing what counters what, or exactly knowing the correct responses to certain build orders. So this is a disadvantage, but at times also an advantage, as it makes him a very wild player. At the same time, he also is just probably the most mechanically gifted player in the world overall. I think he might just be the quickest. When I think of Reynor, I think of someone that is just extremely fast, high APM, very good in controlling things like Ling Bane. I know that whenever I talk to other Zergs, they say that the Ling Bane control of Reynor is just the best. Just literally just the best out of anyone. And the way that he tends to play Protoss is very gateway unit heavy. He doesn't like these technical units like High Templar or Disruptor or even Colossi as much. Just prefers playing with pure gateway units. And despite his theoretical lack of knowledge at times, he definitely makes up for that with his ability to just click things extremely quickly. Of course, he does have a good understanding of the early game build orders. It's just sometimes in specific situations, he doesn't exactly know what to do. This might just be one of those situations, as we have a quick Nexus coming out of Skillous here. A 1-gate expand against, well, what is this? We have a Stargate coming out of Reynor. Is going to get spotted here by this hallucination. And as a result, Skillous can perhaps follow this up with... Ooh, he's going to get his own Oracle rather than Phoenix. I think that's a mistake. Yeah, there we go. Phoenix all the way here, baby. Phoenix all the way. Of course, there's no sentry opener for Reynor here, and that means that he will not be aware of the fact that there's going to be Phoenixes waiting for him. Gets a second Oracle, and is already down 8 workers because of the faster Nexus for the opponent. Second gateway is already on the way as well. We see a battery in both bases as well as 2 Phoenixes. And this is just going to be absolutely fantastic for Skillous. Of course, a recall can be activated immediately. I don't think Skillous was paying attention here. Uh-oh. Skillous... Wait, what? Well, Reynor go in after seeing the Phoenix there. Not entirely sure about it, but does get pushed back. There is a second Oracle out right now. And these bad boys will be hunting for probes later on in the game. But if these probes are not going to get hunted, then the game honestly feels pretty over. As right now Reynor is down 10, 11 workers. There's Phoenixes already here against Oracles. So there is a defensive mechanism against these Oracles. If these Oracles ever get spotted, the Phoenixes will be on top of them. And Phoenixes are quicker than Oracles as well. So yeah, this actually is a really tricky situation right now that Reynor finds himself in. He's going to probably try to pull this army out of position, at the same time move in towards the natural with these Oracles, allowing himself to deal a little bit of damage. 35 workers against 44. After this, it is most likely going to be 40-ish, 39, 38 workers. Oh, yeah, there we go. Kills one more. How many was that total? I think kills 8 workers. Evens up the worker count. Now, of course, we still have these Phoenixes around. Could definitely lift 3 Stalkers here. Yep, and is going to lift 3 Stalkers as well. Might even get every single last Stalker right now. Did he just deny his own Stalker? This is not Dota, my friend. You cannot deny the Stalker to not give your opponent experience points. That is not quite how StarCraft 2 works. It's, of course, an interesting thought how it would change the game if it would work. Well, but then you'd need to have experience points, and we don't really have that. So we don't have any leveling system, no heroes. I don't think we'll ever see denying your own units as a real skill in StarCraft 2. I do believe that Reynor did that just now. 2 extra gates on the way. We're working off of a third base that is slightly faster for Reynor. A blink, which is slightly faster for Reynor. And on top of that, well, honestly, there's not too many disadvantages. The only real disadvantage is the fact that there's 2 Phoenixes out, but 2 Phoenixes by themselves are kind of useless and can actually be stopped by a single battery per base. Stalker count is growing already right now for our Italian PROTOSS player. And it's going to start moving across the map as well. 8 Stalkers against 4. We have some vision in the form of observers out. And let's not forget that Reynor currently, without any oracles, has no detection. So there is some risk involved there. If a Dark Sign were to go down in the next, well, 10 seconds and DTs get warped in, there is a possibility that Reynor just straight up dies. The moment you don't really play with a robotics facility, it can be quite tricky to do things. Observer makes its way towards the ramp. We have double observers out. Dark Shrine indeed gets built here by Skillous. Do we have any way of scouting here for Reynor? The answer is no. It does get a robo in the perfect time. Splits up these stalkers, but that's all in vision of these observers. Luckily for Reynor though, we do not see any blink out yet. If blink would be out here, that could put these stalkers in a bit of a compromised position. That's not quite the case. Here comes the move in. Sentry should be the target with these stalkers. At the same time, we had 3 stalkers moving in towards the natural. 2 of those will get lifted by the Phoenix, and we see a recall coming in here. We'll save every single stalker, and that's nice to see. Fort base already being taken off of 4 gateways. Okay. This is a move we don't see that often. Exposes you to mid-game pushes, like the one we are currently seeing. Good blink forward here out of Skillous. We'll take out 3 stalkers for free. 3 more gates are on the way for Reynor right now. Immortal on the way as well. And this is just pure stalker. It's going to be 11 stalkers against an Immortal, 2 Phoenixes and 2 sentries. +1's about to finish up quicker as well here for Skillous. And if Skillous decides to push right now, I think Reynor might just be in a little bit of trouble. Blink for the... Excuse me? Dark Templar Blink is being researched already. It does not feel like a game where this is possible yet. Skillous disagrees as he's getting it. I'd love to see just 1 or 2 DTs. I mean, there's literally not a single cannon everywhere. We're working off of 0 observers as well. There's 1 on the way right now, but that's obviously not enough. Especially if you have bases on the far right side. You can put an observer here defending your main and natural. That's about it. I think DT still would have won the game had Skillous decided to send them in. Cannon now is going down over at the 3rd base. Incorrect position. I think it's even blocking this worker. Locking it in. Definitely the case. Also blocking mining from this top patch. Don't forget, cannons cannot move unlike spores and spines. I do not think that these DTs end up getting spotted. We have a cannon going down in the natural. So 4 cannons going up. Forge on the way as well. Wait, that's a 2nd forge. We already had a forge somewhere, no? We indeed did. +2 is going to start. 5th base on the way. So this is going to go up to, what is that, 10 gateways? Seems to be the case. 10? No, maybe even 11. It's going to be 11 gateways here for Reynor. Double forge, pure stalker army at this point. We'll be trying to base trade for now. We have a zealot immortal army on the far right side. I do believe that Reynor is slightly ahead currently. Of course, these DTs are around and might be capable of actually dealing some damage. Where's the observer? We have 2 observers. 1 is with the army and 1 is going towards the other side of the army. 4 DTs can quickly take out the cannon, so that is something that we need to keep in mind. Observer spots this, and I don't think Skillous is going to be in any major trouble. He's mining a lot more gas than his opponent, but without disruptors, that doesn't really matter. Straight away just taking into Stargate and carriers. So a 4-base defensive setup into carriers. Not a single Archon is out. This is a mainly Stalker army as well. This is an odd setup here that we're seeing. DTs into Stargates without disruptors. It really is quite rare to see, I have to just say. Zealot run by on the far right side. Spots this observer. Now knows what's going on. What's the observer count currently? Oh. I bet these DTs blinked on top of that thing. Another observer is on the way. A couple of zealots are getting taken out rather than anything else. Oh, 1 DT gets taken out. 2 DTs end up falling there, I think. 9 DTs get warped in immediately. I think this is pretty much what Reynor wants. Reynor is on a very high worker count currently. Going to be working off of Zealot Stalker. Pure Zealot Stalker, that's it. Single Immortal. We'll start doing a bunch of run-bys as well. Disruptors are fantastic against this. But instead we have a mothership coming in. Big cannon wall, I do like that. These DTs, of course, can also be important. Because with the help of DTs, very often you can just take out a base, start working on that pylon, kind of revealing his DT there at least. This is a weird game. You have a Robobay on the way. You have Blink Dark Templar as well coming in for Reynor. Skillous taking his 5th base, while the 6th base is already done for Reynor. I mean, so far this is definitely in favor of Reynor worker-wise, upgrade-wise, and I would even say tech-wise, because carriers in low numbers are not actually that good against this army, given the fact that shield upgrades are already here. We have 2 split armies. They are going to try to move in right now. Phoenixes should be capable of actually taking out these observers, perhaps. Ooh, a lot of DTs actually getting taken out. They're getting surrounded right now. Big mistakes being made as every single observer does get killed. We immediately see a warp in of 2 more DTs, but this army also starts to rotate towards the 3rd base, and there's not a whole lot of skillers available right now. DTs are going to get taken out largely, I think. We have, well, 0 DTs on the map currently. 3 carriers on the way, as well as a mothership. How many zealots is this? This is 10 zealots. Should not be capable of breaking this. Maybe just looking for a 6th base to kill. We already have a 7th base on the way here for Reynor, who's going to continue his economic dominance. Observer speed, also known as the gravitic boosters, on the way here. We have +3 attack, no shields yet. Level 2 shields is going to be quite big against these carriers, of course. And armor upgrades also will be rather vital. Stalker count is big. Let's not forget this is also 100 workers though for Reynor. This has some downsides that this army just isn't that large. I'm just surprised we're not seeing anything that deals well with gateway units. We're seeing carriers come out, which carriers are good, but it's not a unit that deals well with gateway units. Carriers deal well with especially disruptors. Pure gate units, you'd much rather just have something that deals well with gate units, whether that's Archons or Immortals or anything else, doesn't matter too much. We have a big run by here moving in towards the 4th base, and there's not that many cannons there. And Reynor kind of skipping that 5th base, saying, well, you have too much crap over there. Just going to move in towards your 4th. At the same time, 3rd base under some heavy pressure as well. Carriers as well as a mothership moving in right now. There's no observer available, and that means that this little push is going to get taken out unless he can snipe this mothership. Will be capable of sniping that mothership. Carriers now in a bit of danger as well. Zealot warp in defensively will help a lot for Skillous. Overall, a good trade for Skillous. But does lose a fair chunk of workers. What currently is the gateway count? We're at 15 with 3 more on the way. We have +2 shields as well as +1 armor coming in. I actually do not believe quite yet that a move out is what Skillous needs at this point. This sounds stupid because he's maxed. Well, actually, he can just straight up win the game here. Who am I kidding? Oh yeah, this is completely the correct call. He's going to start moving out. Needs to make sure that his entire army is together. Of course, the reinforcements for Reynor are plentiful. The only thing that Reynor is lacking is actual army size, because his army is just going to be a solid 30 supply smaller. Ooh, interesting, blink forward. See the carriers in the far back as well. Don't forget, the upgrades are slightly in favor of Reynor right now, but only by 1 armor. Needs to still get that +2 armor going, or the +2 shield, I have to say. 11 more stalkers are being warped in. There's no prism with this army. There's still a lot of supply as well for Skillous in production right now. Triple carriers as well as a mothership. That's not quite what you want. And also we see, well, no extra warpins yet being used. This thing means that Reynor might be capable of pushing this back for now. Disruptors not being here is really hurting Skillous. And Skillous going to lose every single carrier at this point. This was a fight that seems to be equal cost efficient. So before it was -2k for Skillous, or -2k for Reynor. Now it's still -2k for Reynor. So it was an even trade. But if you're mining off of 7 bases against 5 bases, that is a trade you're always willing to make, of course. And we see a bunch more stalkers coming in as well. Mothership once again being produced. I like this setup out of Skillous a lot. I just don't understand that if you're this stable in a game, that disruptors are, well, a mere afterthought. They are absolutely key in defeating big gateway armies. Because they force zealots away from your army. They don't allow stalkers to just blindly blink into positions where carriers are. And that allows carriers to deal damage over time. Right now, this Armlow Skillous actually is somewhat vulnerable. I'm not a huge fan of that. I actually do not believe that he should be out here whatsoever. Carriers do get taken out. These stalkers are going to get taken out. Reynor's cleaning this up. It's impressive. Skillous is definitely one of the better Protosses currently in the Protoss versus Protoss matchups in Europe. As well as just one of the better Protosses in Europe. Period. Not just PvP. Also PvZ and PvT. It's just very powerful. Knows what to do. Blinks forward. Once again, map control in the hands here of Reynor. There's another run-by setup towards the far right side. Ooh, DTs are going to meet. I'm not quite sure if either player saw that. Surely Skillous is aware of a lot of zealots heading towards that direction. Don't think Reynor quite spotted it. This base might be in a little bit of trouble. This defensive setup is going to be good enough as well. I think that's the one thing that Skillous really needs to do here, is just keep that defensive setup going. We have a couple more workers being produced after a bunch of workers get taken out here. Probably is the correct call. Another cannon in some trouble. Is going to get taken out. But with this observer with speed on the way, eventually Skillous' DTs are going to end up dying. 8 bases being taken. Well, now it's the 7th base because this bad boy has fallen. Every single DT is going to die as well. Ooh. Oh, as long as Reynor pays attention to it. He's going to pay attention to it for sure. DT actually gets to escape, so do these two. So, good movement here out of Skillous. Going to send the DT back in, take out a couple of workers. Don't forget, with the income that Reynor has, is that killing workers, unless you kill like 80 at a time, is not actually that important. 2 extra Nexi on the way for Reynor, taking his 9th base, I believe this is right now. Skillous, considering taking a 6th. So, currently down 4 bases, but considering being down only 3, still not, of course, the position you want to be in. Needs to max out on a superior army and win a fight. Once again, I do not... Okay, Archons I like. Archons are a unit that helps in the cost efficiency against big gateway armies. Either Archons or Disruptor. Definitely the correct call. However, Skillous needs to be careful that he's not going to get taken out here before these Archons can join up with the main army. One Archon is going to show up. We do have a lot of invisible units here because they're under the mothership as well, but one observer in the far back is helping out. This run-by gets cleaned up. This was a very efficient trade here for Skillous that he just took. Needs to start thinking about a 6th base though, as his income is dwindling rapidly. I love this defensive setup with these cannons here. I love this battery in the far back. The gateways blocking any potential blink-ins, or at least, well, not entirely. You can still blink on top of this bad boy and on top of this bad boy. They're far spread apart though, makes it a little bit harder. The one thing that Skillous truly is struggling with right now is vision, as he's lacking vision on the mini-map. Loving these gateways as well, by the way, for the extra wall in. See an attack in towards the natural blink forward on top of this one carrier is just barely going to stay alive. That's so unlucky there for Reynor. Really wanted that kill. Left side base will get taken out, however. And I think Skillous right now is setting up for that one big push that I was talking about. He, however, is not maxed yet. There's 2 carriers still in production. And at the same... Ooh, that's a good recall there. That actually was a very important recall. And at the same time, he's not even maxed yet. So we're technically working with 30 supply under max here for Skillous. I think he might be trying to push a little bit too quick. Will Reynor decide to go for a base trade, or does he want to go back? Does he believe that he can fight? This one base gets taken out. At the same time, we have a massive run-by over here. A couple of zealots get warped in. Defensively, this looks solid here for Skillous. If Skillous can join both of these armies together, perhaps even with a recall this entire army towards your mothership, and all of a sudden you have a basically unbeatable army. Oh, 2 carriers are in a pretty bad position right now. Do we get a recall? Can we get a recall of this? There's no prism. No! Double time warp instead is going to recall this army home, perhaps, is the plan. I think that is the incorrect call. Decides to fight. We'll get a pretty decent fight anyway. That is despite there being 30 supply still on the other side of the map, or maybe more like, well, 45 supply or so on the other side of the map. Skillous does not quite have the money to reproduce an army of this size though. Is going to lose well, almost every single carrier. One carrier of the initial fleet will stay alive. 3 more join in. Well, takes out that observer. That's a big kill there, because these 2 DTs on the low ground, these 2 DTs that are still here in this army will definitely help out. 85 army supply for Reynor though against the 64 of Skillous. And despite Skillous' superior army, I don't actually believe that Skillous can win, because he can't max out anymore. Needs to keep the 6th base alive. You have the DTs moving towards the bottom side. That is very important. And I think taking out the Nexus might even be the correct call here. Wouldn't have minded 1 or 2 DTs just going for these drones as well, or going for these probes. Defensively, not a very strong position here. I don't think he can hold the low ground even. Not against that many carriers at least. High ground vision wasn't quite there yet, so that 1 carrier gets to stay alive. Dies another day, perhaps, as a couple of zealots do get warped in. Where are the DTs? Are they still on the map? Yeah, they're somewhere on the map at least. 135 supply currently against 120. Super battery gets activated. A lot of these interceptors just dealing a lot of damage right now. Observer here as well for Skillous. It's going to help against both of Reynor's observers, and Reynor actually not mining as much anymore either as these DTs go in. This has been an absolutely crazy game. Just constant back and forth action. Pure gateway units. Reynor truly playing PROTOSS like it's Zerg, mass expanding all over the map, trying to fight somewhat efficient trades with worse tech units, and I would not mind if we eventually see a transition into some better units though. Staying on this type of gateway style is fun for a while, but eventually you really need better units majority of the time. And that's the one thing we're lacking, is that these fights just haven't been too cost efficient. Down 8k is Reynor. Despite him being up 3 to 4 bases this entire game, doesn't really seem to be enough. Oh no, all of these DTs out of Skillous here get taken out. At least a decent chunk gets taken out. We're going to have a quick blink available here for these Stalkers. The Stalker blink has a lower cooldown than the DT blink, but for some reason we did not actually see a chase there. Now we're going to see the chase, and our blink forward is a possibility. It's not quite going to be the case. This 3rd base is honestly largely irrelevant, and this is more of a distraction tool. These DTs are dealing the real damage, taking out the 6th base that Skillous was eyeing. And once again, Skillous' base count gets put back to 5. Base over here on the top side, still mining, only with 14 workers. 1 patch has already disappeared. A couple extra patches are about to go as well. Whew, this is an intense style here that Reynor is playing. And I'm not entirely sure if Skillous can beat this eventually. This bottom side base is mining. There's not a huge disparity in income, honestly. It almost feels like Skillous is way too keen to harass himself, where it feels like just preparing for a big fight would be absolutely key. Upgrades, of course, are in favor right now of Reynor with those +3 armor, while there's not a single armor upgrade here for Skillous. Stalkers against Archon Carrier. Interesting fight here. I just love this. Ooh, what is that? Did I see 17 DTs? Did I actually see 19 DTs? And 6 zealots. This is a very valuable army as well. Look at that. I keep saying that the army supply of Reynor is not that valuable, but here with a lot of DTs it actually is. You can blink on top of it actually with the DTs as well. I really think he should. There we go. Blocks off a big portion of this army. That's 3 Archons that are going to get taken out. Or at least one. Yeah, they all get taken out eventually, right? At the same time, we have Skillous moving forward. Is going to lose this space. At the same time, a decent side of DTs also moving in towards the 3rd base, or maybe in towards the main even. And I think we'll actually have a semi-base trade over here. We have some Zealots, some Archons. What is Skillous doing? He's kind of moving around aimlessly. Recall? What are we recalling right now? Ooh, that's a very small army to recall. Now both armies will join up. Okay, here we go. How will Reynor respond? Reynor still has a lot of money in the bank. Can he fight this army out of Skillous though? 133 army supply. Archons. Carriers. What do we have on the side of Reynor? Mainly DTs. DTs and Stalkers. That's it. Here we go. Blinks forward. Archons putting in a lot of work. DTs blink in as well. We'll start working on these Archons now. Is there an observer available? The answer is yet a lot of that Stalker count is disappearing. All of these DTs have gone down as well. 151 supply against 162. Reynor can do this trick one more time. This time without the DTs though. 29 Stalkers against 6 carries. 1 carry is going to get targeted down. Good move here out of Reynor. Only loses 3-4 Stalkers against that, but that is completely fine. At the same time, we have another Nexus being built here on the left side. DT run by heading towards the 12 o'clock as well. This fight is going in favor of Reynor actually, because these carries are deciding to fight a cannon and a Nexus here on the bottom right side. We do not have any reinforcements for this army. More Stalkers are being warped in as well. At the same time, these DTs are taking out a lot of probes, taking out one of the remaining mining bases here for Reynor. Good blink for the carries, not paying attention. 1, 2, 3 get popped like balloons. 4 get taken out, and Reynor still down in army supply. Does not have a lot of bank anymore either. This DT is going to work. Well, Stalkers blink forward, take out an Archon here. We'll take out an Archon here. We see Skillous turn around immediately. Does not have any Stalkers to chase. Does not have any Immortals for a backbone in this army either. This bottom side base gets to survive. Blink forward. That was not the blink that he needed. As some of these Stalkers get charged upon immediately. DTs will stay alive now. Might be capable of spotting this topside base. The 11 o'clock will get taken out. Most likely final carrier will get killed as well. And now the upgrades actually do matter, because it's pure gateway army against pure gateway army. And in that case, these armor upgrades here for Reynor are just going to play a vital role, especially against these large zealot counts that Skillous still has. 85 army against 78 in favor of Reynor for the first time in a while. This has been a sick game. Has he built any tech units? Anything not from a gateway? 3 units that were not from a gateway. Immortal, Oracle, and the Observer. 12 Observers, 2 Oracles, 1 Immortal. 15 non-gateway units. 39 Dark Templar, 180 Zealots, 128 Stalkers. Treating it like it's Ling Bane. Unbelievable. Takes out a battery, takes out a cannon. We'll take out this pylon as well. Needs to kind of check this base, honestly. Skillous is outmining his opponent. But for the first time in the game also has a worse army. Pure Zealot, single Immortal, 5 Archons, 6 Stalkers. Observers moving in right now. We'll scout the fact that there's no base here. Reynor is broke. Broke as a joke. See a lot of Stalkers still alive. Of course, Stalkers have way more micro ability than the army that Skillous is working with. But that with these superior upgrades as well. Despite it for the first time being that Reynor is behind in eco, or at least not looking super hot. I actually believe his army is kind of fine. We have another Immortal on the way here for Skillous. See this large stock count. This is a huge pickoff. This is massive. Archon gets taken out. These Stalkers perhaps also. 1, 2. I think 2 Stalkers do end up falling. We see an immediate change of direction here for the army of Skillous. Starts moving towards the left side. We'll try and catch this army. Not quite sure if that is completely going to be possible. At the same time, a huge Zealot Stalker run by, or attack I should say, here in the middle base. It's one of the remaining mining bases. These Stalkers do get cornered, and the Zealots, ooh, they take out a bunch before the recall goes through. 146 supply against 146. At the same time, what is happening? There's no harassment here on the bottom side, despite there being hardly any cannons whatsoever. Oh god. What a game. What an absolutely sick and twisted game here that Reynor is playing with Skillous. Because Reynor still feels like he's the one in charge. Once again, up in eco. When are we finally going to see some real units? Seems like the answer is never. Zealot and Stalkers surrounding from both sides right now, and lots of Archons in the middle will deal a lot of damage against these Zealots, but Zealots had a beautiful spread as well, so big blink forward. I actually think that's, yeah, Reynor just has it. 150 supply against 76. This is going to be it after 29 minutes and 25 seconds. Skillous calls GG. And Reynor wins the game. I just want to open up that unit lost one more time. Look at that. Down 12k in the units lost. It's not including gas. I can't do the math here, but that's what, 5k. So I guess down 6k only or so. 7k was Reynor. 212 Zealots lost. 149 Stalkers. 20 carriers have died. Treating it like it's Zerg. Alright. that's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this game. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.